Mr. Marler, is the defense prepared to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, indeed we are, and if it pleases the court, we would like to begin in a somewhat unorthodox manner. Now, on day one, the defense reserved the right to make an opening statement.
Do you wish to do so now?
I would like the jury to hear what happened the night that Carmen Santos died, and so Daniel Santos will make the opening statement. Mr. Santos, did you fire the gun that killed Carmen Santos?
Yes, I shot my mother.
So you do not deny in any way that you shot and killed your mother?
No, I did it.
Didn't you love her?
Yes, at times.
At times you hated her?
Yes. Only when I did what she wanted did my mother express anything that seemed like love. For a long time, I tried to do what she wanted, and she was pleased, until I defied her and married Michelle Bauer. My mother vowed to make my wife's life hell, and she did. She terrorized Michelle, stalked her, constantly threatened her, framed her for a murder that she herself had committed. When the truth finally came out and my mother was charged, she agreed to turn state's evidence. The night before she was to go into the witness protection program, my mother was shot and killed by an unknown gunman in front of my wife. The whole thing took an enormous toll on my wife and me. Michelle miscarried our first child. It was a very difficult time for us. We divorced. A few months later, when I learned that Michelle was pregnant with our son, I asked her for another chance. We thought that since my mother was dead, we believed we would be able to move on. We decided that we would start over together, make a fresh start away from here, away from Springfield. The night of November 14th, I went to the hospital with airline tickets and passports. I signed Michelle out of her room, and when I had returned, she was gone. She disappeared. And her mother, Claire Ramsey, was hysterical. She told me to go to my grandmother, Maria Santos, and ask her what had happened. Apparently, Claire knew that my mother was still alive.
And we know that through grand jury testimony. Now, Mr. Santos, on November 14th, the year 2000, did you know that Carmen Santos was alive?
No. Not until I got to the ferry docks where my grandmother told me I would find Michelle. I saw my mother about to shoot and kill my wife and my unborn child.
And how did you know that she was about to shoot Michelle?
She said so. I tried to reason with her.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a weapon?
Yes.
And did you draw that weapon right away?
No. I thought that I would be able to convince my mother to let Michelle go.
Why did you think that?
Because it was the only way.
The only way for what? That nobody would get hurt?
Yes. I told my mother that Michelle and I would go away, that we would never tell anyone she was still alive, that she would never have to see Michelle again. I thought that that would satisfy her.
But it didn't.
No. She turned on Michelle again with her gun. She was going to shoot, so I diverted my mother's attention by pulling out my gun. My mother was insane.
You mean that in a literal sense?
Yes, she thought that I was my father. She thought that Michelle was someone that my father had had an affair with. She was delusional. I begged for my wife's life and my child's life. But my mother didn't respond to that either. she turned on Michelle again. I ran between my mother and Michelle to try to protect Michelle and my baby. My mother cocked her gun. And I shot her. After I made sure that my wife wasn't harmed, I threw my gun into the water, and I put my mother's body into the lake.
You threw the gun into the water. Now, if that gun is in the lake, how in the world did the prosecution ballistically prove that another gun was the weapon?
I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, defense of life, yours or another's, is not a crime in this country. And Danny Santos was defending life. He was protecting his unborn child and the mother of that child. Now, you may ask, if he was blameless, why didn't he call the police? Why did he hide the body? Why did he keep quiet for so long? Well, I propose to you that Carmen and Miguel Santos, for years on end, forged a dysfunctional family, where only obedience to this twisted family code would bring the attention and affection that a child needs. Now, when Danny Santos fell in love with Michelle Bauer, he found for the first time unconditional and true love. And Carmen knew it and was jealous of it. And on the dock that night, Danny was to make a choice: to go forward with love or to continue with evil. And now it is your turn to make a decision about whether Danny should be punished for that, for choosing love over evil. You were very much in love?
Yes.
Why then did you get a divorce?
Because at that time, I was consumed with bringing my mother's killer to justice.
When you thought that Carmen had been shot to prevent her from turning state's evidence, is that correct?
Yes. Michelle hated that side of me. She was afraid that it would come between us, and it did.
And she subsequently went to New York?
Yes. I didn't know that she was pregnant with our son.
But she returned. She came back.
Yes. And I promised her that if she gave us another chance, I would never do anything again to drive her away from me.
Now, when you were forced to shoot your mother in order to protect Michelle, did you think you had driven her away again?
Yes. But she never stopped loving me. I had stopped loving myself.
Why?
I couldn't forgive myself.
Well, giving up your wife and your child, that's quite a punishment.
Yes.
But she wouldn't let you go.
No. She waited for me.
Needless to say, it is most fortunate for your young son and for Michelle that your love was stronger than your mother's hate. And I think you're to be commended for this ultimate act of self-defense of protecting your child and your wife. And who in this courtroom, ladies and gentlemen, would not do the same thing if in these circumstances? Who in this courtroom would not act to protect their child and their spouse? Your Honor, thank you. No further.
I thought you pleaded not guilty.
Tony, I thought I told
He is
you
not guilty
not
of the
be here.
crime they are charging him with. Let me tell you something. The only thing that's going to get to this jury is the straightforward, God's honest truth.
Well, the truth. What part of the truth would that be? The part where the angel wife steals all the FBI evidence, or is it the part where the loving husband cares so deeply for his wife that he
Cuz,
sleeps
get
with an
out. This is
FBI
an
agent that he hardly
attorney-client
even knows. He
conversation,
slept with
okay?
her. Oh, it must be true love. That's why I stay single. All your clients are such a class act, Ross. Class
Get
act.
out. It's an example of what you can expect in cross-examination.
No. I can handle her. But I don't want you to put Michelle on the stand.
He has to.
No.
Let's get through Danny's testimony before we worry about anything else. Excuse me for a minute.
Right. Because Lord knows if I bite the DA's head off, this thing could be done tonight.
Danny, you can't trust these people.
Tony, you gotta trust somebody.